Welcome in once again. This is strength and stretch class. So strength and stretch. It's where we include a little bit of stretching at the end, kind of as a recovery. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Sometimes I teach a stretch class. Sometimes I teach a strength class. This one combines a little bit of both. Here we are. Let's get warmed up. Shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs. Roll the shoulders. And send them forward. Just roll in both directions, basically. And let's settle down with the feet there. Turn the head left and right. Just rotation with some control. Great to have you guys today. Hope you guys are resting well, feeling well, living well, being well. I appreciate you guys. I like chatting with you here and there, so it's nice to see you when you come in. All right, and eyes forward, nice wide feet. Squatting down just a little bit, right? Not for the muscles, but so that the knee joints are cushioned and there's blood flow through the legs. Let's rotate the spine, left and right. Rotating. You can bring the fists together, palms together, or just swing the arms around. Breathing here. And let's make it a good day. And turn to the side, take a nice deep breath, expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale and unwind to the other side. Nice deep breath, expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale and unwind. All right, feet come closer together, circles with the hips, hula hoop circles, circle, circle, circles. And switching the other direction here. Okay. Again, this class is, you always want water in your strength classes, right? We sweat a lot sometimes. Anyway, I do. Chair is good for planks. Wall space is good for planks. Floor if you need to. You don't need yoga mats. I use these so that I know, where to not place my weights so that they're not going to trip me. Let's march the knees. You don't have to have weights. As usual, you can use resistance bands, cans of soup, stuff a bunch of groceries into a purse. What doesn't matter to me. But weights are nice because then you can make certain moves harder and certain moves easier. And let's start jogging in place. This is getting toward the end of our warm-up here. This is our aerobic portion. We do this pretty briefly. It's not a lot. The class feels like a lot, but the warm-up's just a little one. And side jacks. Tapping the toe out to the side. So I don't do any jumping in here. No jumping jacks, so we do side jacks instead. Low impact on the joints, right? Impact is, right? Too much impact is not good, so we want to reduce that. Soften the step. Squeeze the muscles, but decrease the impact on the joints. All right, and it looks like I'm pretty sloppy here, right? My arms are just kind of tossing up to the sides. They're not stiff. That's intentional. It's more comfortable this way, right? All right, add a punch, stepping and punching. Step with the right, punch with the right, step with the left, punch with the left. And I'm gonna get a little bit low here as I step. You can go slower or faster. Do what works for your body. All right, and high knee pull down. Reaching up, you don't have to reach up super duper high, but reach up and pull down as you exhale, squeezing the core. Pull down, exhale, squeezing the core. This is our first core warm up. As usual, we'll do a circuit style system today where we do 3 moves at a time. 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll repeat that circuit for a second round. 1, 2, and 3 for a second round. Squeeze, squeeze as we pull down. All right, awesome, awesome. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. I've got our timer here somewhere. Where's our timer? I think it's over here. Got it right here. There it is, there's my timer. Okay, First move, plank. I usually like to start with this move because it gets the core firm and the spine protected. So you can come to a wall and have a fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. You can come down to the floor, nice tight core, or you could use a chair. This is my favorite angle. I like this one quite a bit. Fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. I'm gonna start a 1-minute timer and you can come out of it at any time, right? No pressure to do the full minute. Listen to your body and what it can do today, right? It's not gonna be able to do the same thing every single day. Sometimes you're gonna feel like you got twice as much energy and sometimes you're gonna feel like a bag of potatoes, but that's all right. Nice tight core, fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Tucking the chin back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Give it a good exhale and squeeze the stomach muscles, the abdominals. When I exhale, I get a better contraction on those muscles, so give it a good one. There's about 20 seconds left or so. Good exhale. All right, this is move number 1 out of 3. Try to keep your eyes down on the chair, down on the floor, or down on the wall so that you're not hurting your neck during this move. Okay? You can straighten up the spine. Here comes our timer. And come out of it nice and slow and steady. Shake out the arms, roll the shoulders. Okay, our next move, a lot of legs, a little bit of shoulders. Here it is. Nice wide feet, okay? Squat down and reach down. Stand tall and reach up high, creating kind of an X with the body, right? Right arm up and out, left arm up and out, creating an X. Squat down and up, okay? You want to try to keep your spine fairly vertical, although it is okay to hinge forward at the hips a little bit. We don't want to round the back though, okay? That's our move. Here's our timer. Mind your knees and your hips. If you're squatting too low and it's hurting your knees or your hips, listen to your body and stop, right? Fight through fatigue, but don't push through pain. 1 minute, coming down, maybe even holding there, and then up and squeeze the glutes. Fairly vertical spine, up and squeeze the glutes. Just turning around for a better angle for you guys. Good work, good work. Breathing. Almost there. And after this, we'll get light weights for shoulders, for our arms, for our deltoids. Okay, here's the move. Let me demonstrate really fast. Like I said, light weights, even if your arms feel pretty strong, when they're straightened out, it's a lot of resistance for the shoulders to lift. So unlock the knees, so there's a little bit of cushion there and good blood flow in the legs. Remember, we care about the joints in these classes. Arms come out to the sides, no higher than the height of the shoulders though. Right here is great, up here is too high. Here's fine. Lower is also fine, so if you want to come to here and just repetitively kind of go low, that's great as well. You want to avoid shrugging the shoulders up high. Keep them down, right? If the weight is making you pull your shoulders up, then it's too much weight. You got to keep them down, down, down. So maybe just practice that. If you need to do it without weights, that's fine. Here's our timer. I'll get it started. 1 minute counting down. Shoulder blades back and pulling them down. Unlock the knees. Nice vertical spine. Tuck the tail a little bit. So don't flare the bottom out, right? You want to tuck the tail so that it's a nice vertical spine. And it looks goofy, right? I would not normally just stand like this, but I'm being very structured. Looks like a robot or some kind of machine. Breathing. For me, I like to exhale as I raise with the weights. It's called the concentric contraction, C-O-N-centric, concentric. And then I breathe in as I come down. Shoulder blades back and down. This is move number 3 out of 3, which means in a second here, we're gonna go back to move number 1 for round 2 of this circuit. There's our timer. You wanna get these weights out of the way so that they're not a tripping hazard. Totally out of the way. Here's our plank. I'm gonna start in again. I did the chair last time, right? Like this. Timer's going. I'll do the floor this time for fun, if you want to call it that. Nice tight core, fairly straight back, okay? It's okay if your bottom comes up. It's not going to harm us, right? But it is a little bit less effective. Try to make it straight if you can. I'm not a stickler on that. Do what your body wants to do, except don't droop down like this, right? That's a lot of pressure in the low back, and it's just not great, right? That's not doing what we want it to do for the core. So nice straight legs, nice tight core, breathing. Awesome, awesome. Timer's going. Keep your eyes down on the floor, down on the chair, or down on the wall. Good. Exhale and squeeze. All right, coming up out of this in just a second here. There's our timer. And you can always cut out early. Remember, you can always take a break when you need it. Shake out the arms. Don't need any equipment for this one. Squat down, push down. Stand tall, reach up high and wide. Okay, squeezing the glutes. This is a squat with a wide, high reach. Breathing. Another angle. Okay. I'm going to go slow, but you can definitely go faster than this, right? Nice wide squat. If your feet are wide, you don't want your knees to buckle in narrow, right? You want your knees same width as your feet. They should be in line with the toes. Shoulders back, chest up, almost there. Coming up on our lateral shoulder raises. And there's our timer. Okay, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, take a break if you need it, but I'm gonna take a formal rest break myself after this circuit, after this last move. Tuck the tail, unlock the knees, out to the sides. You decide how high you're gonna bring your hands. Don't bring them any higher than the height of the shoulders, all right? Light weights are good, partial range of motion is fine, shoulder blades down, and we're moving. By the way, you don't ever have to wait for me. If I'm describing a move that you already know the safety points of, you are certainly welcome to go get it ahead of me, that's fine. Breathing, eyes forward. You don't want to look left and right at me or a mirror or anything. You might place and hold for an isometric contraction. Almost there. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Take a break if you need it. Hey, there's our break time anyway. Setting those down out of the way so that they're not a tripping hazard. Let me turn my timer off and get some water, everybody. Water's good, water's great. If you're not ready for a break, you can keep on jogging, you keep on moving. I'm not forcing you to take a break, right? Take the ones you want and don't take the ones you don't. All right, shaking out the arms. Roll the shoulders both directions. Okay, next up here, this is in the deadlift family. It's called RDL, Romanian deadlift, things like that. It's for the hamstrings, low back, glutes, all that kind of posterior chain stuff. So I like to use weights for this. It gives me a little bit more stimulus, right, for this line of pull, this upward, downward, right, fighting against gravity. You don't have to use weights, but I think it is a little more satisfying to use them. They don't have to be super heavy, although these are stronger muscles on most people's bodies, so you might be able to pick up heavier weights for this than you did with the shoulders. Here's the move. I have to do it to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Don't lock the knees out. Unlock the knees. Shoulders back. My feet are fairly close, but there's space in between them. My knees are close, but there's space in between them. When I sink down, I'm really hinging. Imagine there's a pin in my hips, and I'm hinging at the hips with my arms nice and straight, and then I come back up, okay? So it is kind of in the deadlift world, like a barbell deadlift. Sink down, push the bottom back, the hands kind of come right in front of the knees and up. I'm never really pulling back, right? Not bending the elbows or anything. Shoulders are back, the arms stay straight, and we push the bottom back as we squat down, and then we come back up. Okay, you might get a little hamstring stretch here. The goal is not a stretch though, right? Don't strain your muscles by just ripping through it, right? Don't go farther just to go farther. We're here to burn calories, right? Burn calories, weight management, muscle building, those kinds of things. So sink down and then come on up slow and steady, okay? You'll hinge at the hips, but not hunch at the back. Does that make sense? Don't round the spine. I'm gonna get started here on our first move. I'm gonna pick up my medium weights, I guess. Here's our timer. And shoulder blades back, sink at the knees and hips until you feel like you're down enough, and then you come back up. What is down enough? Not down to the floor, right? It's not a stretch. Your low back might feel like it's having a lot of effort here, right? If it's hurting, then maybe switch up this move and do something else. That's okay. It's okay to do a different move from a different week if this one bothers your back, right? Avoid the things that bug you. Listen to your body. Straight spine, hinging at the hips. All right, there's our timer. I'm gonna set those down, slow and steady, out of the way. Totally out of the way, right? Our next move here, shuffling right, shuffling left, okay? What it looks like is right, left, bring the knee across and squeeze the core at the same time. Left, left, bring the knee across and squeeze the core. So you want to make sure everything's out of the way. No tripping hazards, including the edge of a yoga mat, right? Including the edge of a rug, okay? Shuffle to the side, squeeze, shuffle to the side, squeeze. More movement's fine, just no tripping, please. Okay, here's our timer. Let's get going. Shuffle and squeeze, shuffle and squeeze, shuffle and squeeze. Try to be light on the feet. Tippy-toeing, controlling the muscles as you go left and right. Good work, good work. You can go slower or faster, right? Faster looks like this. Slower, you might really squeeze the core as you exhale. All right, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. We're gonna go back to some shoulder movements here. Last time we did T's, right? That's out to the sides. This time I'm gonna do Y's, okay? So just for a difference here, just to show you, I's are forward, T's are out to the sides, Y's are in between, they're a diagonal, okay? So it's forward and out, forward and out. Does that make sense? Here's our 360 view. Okay, forward and out. You don't need to spin around like I'm doing. In fact, please don't. Not great on your back, I'm sure. So unlock the knees, forward and out just a little bit, bringing the shoulders down and the hands up no higher than the height of the shoulders, right? All right, here we go. Here's our timer. Counting down. This is move number 3 out of 3. So after this, unlock the knees. After this, we'll go back to our first move where we hinge at the hips, do kind of a deadlift. If you prefer having one foot forward for this move, that is absolutely fine for good front to back stability. If that helps your low back, tuck the tail. That might be nice for some folks. It's nice for me. I'm one of those folks. Forward and out. Remember, no higher than the height of the shoulders. In fact, partial range of motion is great for these shoulder type moves. Make sure we're breathing. And there we are. I'm going to set these aside, but I can put them on top of the chair there because I'm not going to use that chair. So this is our RDL, where we hinge at the hips, sink down, and then come up. Nice firm back, nice firm core. The spine should stay fairly straight. We're not going to round the spine at all. Here's our timer. Be safe, be sturdy. Don't overdo your resistance capacity, right? Listen to your body on your capacity today. Shoulder blades back. Push the bottom back as we hinge at the hips. And come on up. The weights should go straight up and down, so I'm not going to swing them forward and backward. The knees stay slightly bent. Even when we stand tall, they're not locked out, right? Slightly bent. Breathing here. A little bit of stimulus in the hamstrings, but we're not trying to stretch them really far. All right, they might be sore tomorrow. After things like this kind of move, even if you don't feel it now, hamstrings might be sore tomorrow. So you want to do some of those recovery stretches. All right, coming on up. Shake it out, shuffling left and right, shuffle to the side, squeeze the core, shuffle to the side, squeeze the core. Go your own pace. Here's our timer. So you can make it bigger, or you can be pretty small, right? You could be in a tiny little space, tiny little closet, shuffling. Good work today. All right, shoulders are next. Doing Ys, like the letter Y. Breathe in here. Almost done. There's our timer. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. I'm going to start our timer for Ys. Don't need much description because we already did this one. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Shoulder blades back and down. And diagonal movements back down. Diagonal movements back down. Okay, you don't have to have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. You can do it like this. That's fine. Tuck the tail so your spine is vertical, so you're not jutting the bottom out, right? If you find a better posture for your body, that keeps your spine in line, I'm okay with that. If you find a better direction for your shoulders, right? Maybe out a little bit more. Okay, maybe you just simply like the T's and you don't like the Y's. That's okay. We can avoid a certain letter, right? Listen, listen, listen to your shoulders. All right, this is move number 3 out of 3 for this circuit. So I'm gonna take a brief break after this. We'll be on to another circuit. All right, I'm gonna set these here. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. While you're watching, go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you can be up to date on when I post new videos like this one. Shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Our next circuit is going to include a couple of compound movements for the legs and the shoulders. So we're getting a lot of shoulders in today, a lot of legs, a little bit of core. Our first move is a squat press. Very similar to one of our moves that we already did. Nice wide feet, down and up and out. You're welcome to do that move again if you'd like. I'm gonna grab lighter weights and squat down and press as I come up, okay? So you decide what's appropriate for you on resistance level, things like that, and on depth of your squat. I like to line my elbows up with my knees, even if they're not gonna go down and touch, right? They don't have to go down that low, but line them up that way, and that'll kind of give us a starting point for probably a most safe line of pressing, okay? So I'll start our timer. Get into it slow, get into it nice and easy. Don't go too deep for yourself and don't go too heavy for yourself. Listen to your body, especially if this is one of the first times you've done this, right? So wide feet, squat, press. Squat, press. I feel like I might be able to do heavier weights, but I'm not going to because, right, that pressure is going to go down my spine and into my low back, and I don't want to do a whole lot more with my low back today, so I want to be considerate of that. I've got one more move that will strengthen the low back, and so I'm being careful with it right now. One more move that we'll finish with today. Breathing. Shoulder press if you like. You can also just do the squatting, right? Eliminate any elements that you're not liking. Next up, we've got our core. And I'm going to show you a couple of options for this next move. Set these aside. Okay, 2 options here. Well, the options are endless, but I'm going to give you 2 recommendations. You could do a marching plank like this, nice tight core. Bring the knee up and squeeze the abdominals as you march. Okay? That can also be done at the wall, right? March, squeeze, march, squeeze. Okay? Squeezing as the knees rise. You could also do it freestanding. I'm gonna get on the floor here and show you a floor abdominal move that I like. You're welcome to join me if you'd like to be on the floor. You decide. On my back, I'm gonna lay my head down on the floor, if I can. My hair's in the way. Shoulder blades back, right? One hand over the other, and my hands are gonna go through my legs. Now, it's not about how much motion we can do here. It's just about squeezing the core. So you don't need to like do a full sit-up, right? In fact, don't do that. What we want to do is just barely pull the shoulder blades off the ground and squeeze the abdominals as the hands kind of push between the legs. We call them push-throughs, just like this. Give it an exhale. Let me turn a little bit so you can get another angle. Right? Tucking the chin back so you're not wrenching your neck up. And here's our timer. So you decide if you're doing the marching plank or if you're on the floor, that's fine as well. One hand over the other. It's just a little movement, squeezing the core as we do a tiny crunch. It's not a full sit-up. Breathing. Good work. Almost there. The third move in this circuit you could be on the floor for, or you can be standing for. I'll show you the floor one first since I'm already down here. All right, that was push throughs, right? Not focusing on range of motion, just on squeezing the core. Okay, if you're on the ground, these are Superman, Superwoman, Superhero, Super Persons, Super Dupers, and what it is engaging the low back. Like I said, we had another move that would strengthen some of this area. The back is still part of the core, right? It's still part of what protects the spine. So you want to be on your stomach if you're going to do this floor move. Shoulders off the ground, legs off the ground, so it doesn't look like much, but if I straighten my legs out and try to pick my toes up off the ground, you can do little flutter kicks like you're in a pool, like you're swimming. Arms could be out to the side, T-shaped arms. They could be down and back. They could be at your shoulders or at your sides or forward. I'm just trying to take them off the ground so that I'm engaging these muscles a little bit more. And I want to look down at the ground as I kind of hold. I'm going to do the flutter kicks here, or I would do the flutter kicks if that's the move I chose, but I'm going to get up actually and show you the other move that can strengthen a lot of these same midsection muscles. So this is kettlebell swings, which we've done in a bunch of classes. If you ever see kettlebell swings in my classes, you're also welcome to get to the floor and do that superhero move. Here it is, shoulder blades back, nice wide feet, and I hold on to one weight. I don't have a kettlebell. It looks like a big heavy fish weight, but anyway, I don't have those, so I don't use them. Sink down and swing forward. Now I say swing, but there should be some control here, squeezing the core, keeping the spine vertical. So we don't swing down and look down, we stay upright, sink and swing. You're welcome to get started ahead of me. I'm gonna get going as well now. Here's our timer. Nice tight core, timer's going. Shoulders back, squeezing the abdominals, sink and swing. Breathing, swinging. All right. So you might be on the floor on your stomach with your legs straight, toes off the ground, legs off the ground, knees off the ground, whatever. You might be standing. It's not a deep squat. It's just adding a little bit of extra oomph, right? A little bit of extra muster as we bring the weight up. Nice tight core, like I said. Eyes forward, you don't want to look left and right. And this is move number 3 out of 3. We're back to move number 1 right after this. Here it comes. There's our timer. All right. Okay, you decide how much weight you want to use, how deep you want to squat. This next move, back to move number 1 out of 3, is the wide squat press. Okay, squeeze the glutes at the top, sink down, elbows are lined up with the knees, but you don't have to go that deep and you don't have to lift that much weight. In fact, you could do this with no weight at all. Listen to your body, keep your eyes straight forward, straight spine. Here's our timer. I'm gonna start a little bit heavier. I'm feeling okay right now, not feeling like I need to overprotect anything. And I might have to reduce the weight halfway through, that's always okay. Nice wide feet, sink down, stand and press, nice and slow. Coming down. And I've gotta be very slow with this because my ceiling's so short and I don't wanna break my ceiling. I'm not that tall, it's just a short ceiling. Control down, control up. All right, I need to reduce my weight here, so that's what I'm gonna do. Starts to feel a little bit wobbly. I don't wanna get too fatigued while I'm pushing weight overhead, right? That's not good. Fatigue is great, but safety is one of the prerequisites. All right, we need to stay safe. There we go, I only got 2 more reps in, but I'm good with that. Set them down. Okay, you can do the push-throughs on the ground if you like, laying on your back and kind of pushing between the knees. You can do the marching plank if you'd like. That's the one I'm going to do this time. Here's our timer. Nice tight core. Squeezing the abdominals as we march the knees up. Keep on going there. Good work today. We are right around the corner from being done. This is our second to last move. So we've got this move, and you choose our last one. It's either the kettlebell swing or the Superman, Superwoman, Superhero, Super Person. Next. All right, and then we'll get to some stretches to recover. You've got to do some recovery stretches after classes like this so that things don't feel too rickety tomorrow, right? So that things are still working right. Okay, this is feeling like a lot on my shoulders. I might need a little break here. That's okay. Let me check my shoe. Yep, it does need to be tied. And there's our timer anyway. Okay, good time for a break. Final move, final round, final everything, and then we get to some recovery stretches. This is our kettlebell swing, so you decide if you want to hold on some weights and swing, right? No higher than the height of the shoulders, right? Keep the shoulder blades down, vertical spine, sternum faces forward, eyes stay forward. I'm gonna get to the floor because I did not do that one on the last round, and I want to mix it up. All right, here we go. You decide what's right for you. If you're swinging the weight, make sure you're in control to some degree and it's not super duper heavy. You should be able to lift it up on your own and go through the motion in super slow motion. All right, legs are back, maybe flutter kicks, shoulders off the ground, hands off the ground. You could bring the arms out to the sides, in at the sides, down and back. All right. Nice tight core, pull the shoulder blades back. I'm doing my flutter kicks and I can feel my back muscles are squeezing. Good work today, everybody. You guys are awesome, you guys rock. Glad to do it with you. Almost done, and then we're stretching, we're recovering. The feel-good stuff. Tuck the chin back. If you're on the floor, I know it's too late now. If you're on the floor, you want to keep your nose pointed at the ground. You don't need it to touch the ground, but eyes should be down, right? All right, I'm going to stay on the floor for just a half a second here. Nice wide feet. If you're standing, you don't need to get down, but if you're on the floor, you have the luxury of already being here. You can pull back for sort of a child's pose. You might bring your forehead to the ground. Pulling back, nice wide knees. Decompressing the low back, decompressing the spine. And then I'm going to come forward and up, slow and steady, if you're on the ground. If you're already standing, lucky you. Okay, let's do a few stretches here to recover specifically for the exercises we did today. Now, I mentioned the low back a lot, so let's do a recovery for that really quick. I'm going to use a chair, but you could use a stool. Essentially, you want to fold forward and roll up, okay? So here it is. Nice wide feet. I'm going to squat down with a vertical spine. That does not mean I tip forward. That means I have a vertical spine until I can touch the chair. Then when I can touch the chair, I can round forward, push my bottom up, which gives me a little bit of a hamstring stretch, okay? And then tuck the tail and tuck the chin as we roll up, so it'll kind of snake up, right? Like that, okay? So we come up one vertebrae at a time. Let me do that again. Sink down, roll up. It's important to tuck the chin, it's important to tuck the tail, otherwise we end up bending forward and snapping back, and that's not the stretch, right? That's gonna potentially injure us, right? Potentially irritate things. So we don't want to hunch and then extend. Instead, we want to round forward and roll one vertebrae at a time. I mean, multiple vertebrae are moving, but the next one and then the next one and then the next one comes up, right? Okay. In the yoga world, we sometimes add this to this recovery, where we reach up, split, and sink down. So we make it a swan dive, forward fold and roll up. And that might be a good addition for this particular class because we did a lot with the shoulders. So up and split. And I'll do one more of these and then I'm going to move on. Last one. Sinking down. And there we go. Okay. Shake out the arms. I'm not quite recovered yet, but we're on our way. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. I'm going to start low and work my way up. So calf stretch looks like this. I'm not going to spend a ton of time there because we didn't spend a ton of time fatiguing the calves, but that's what it would look like, is pushing against a wall horizontally, okay? Pushing downward and back. Horizontal pressure, anyway, back down toward the heel. Hopefully that makes sense. Next, I'm going to work my way into the inner leg here, okay? I like a chair for this move as well. Holding onto a chair, nice wide feet, and then you're kind of weight shifting left and right. The movement is good. That's part of the recovery stretch. We want to do in and out of tension, active stretches. Here's what it looks like from behind. And I'm showing you this specifically so you can see how wide my feet are here. It's not narrow. You don't want to stand narrow because then you won't get much out of it. You want to stand as wide as you need to in order for your weight shifting to stay within your base of support. So left and right. So my hips are over to my left now and my right leg gets some tension on that inner leg. Okay, back and underneath. Switching sides. Now my left leg gets some tension underneath. So it's left and right. Okay. You can add a hamstring stretch here by rocking back. So side and pull back. Forward, side, pull back. Forward, side, pull back. You're just kind of rounding there. Okay, I'm going to come on up, slow and steady. Hamstring stretches are very important. I'm going to stand for this one. Holding onto a wall, heel down, toe up. And it's a very light, mild tortoise in the hare, right? Slow and steady wins the race in the game of stretching, in the game of recovery, right? You don't want to stretch too hard here or things will, for sure, be irritated tomorrow and for the next week potentially. We don't want to do that. We want to get back to exercise as soon as possible. So heel down, toe up, mild stretching. Frequency is good though, right? If you can do some stretching tonight, tomorrow morning, the next day, stretching frequency is great. Stretching intensity, you want to be soft on, right? That's usually how people injure themselves with stretching, is stretching too hard, not by stretching too much. All right. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. A little bit hip flexors here. So I'm going to tuck my tail, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips forward. I'm just kind of rocking here gently. Just a little bit of a rock, front to back. It's not a gigantic step, right? I'm not reaching back as far as I possibly can because then I can't rock as well. I can't tuck the tail. So it's just kind of a natural step back. And then I'm rocking. All right, switch sides. Tuck the tail and rock a little bit. And march the knees. Upper body, it'll be brief. Clasp the hands down in the center. Come up and out, down in the center. If you know this stretch pretty well, you can do more of it if you'd like. These are for the lats, and we didn't do a ton of lats, latissimus dorsi, lats for short, today. Still important to stretch just to, because you use those muscles to stabilize, right? To hold yourself steady for safety. But Even if it's not a target muscle, you still want to stretch it a little bit. It just might not be your primary mission right now, right? Okay, coming out of that, roll the shoulders. Now I am going to pull my right arm across, give it a nice hug. If you get pinching in the shoulder, you might need to come lower. The deltoids might not be sore right now, but they might be sore tomorrow from these lateral arm raises, the Ys, the kettlebell swings, the overhead presses. We had like 4 or 5 moves, right, where the shoulders were involved. So you might feel them tomorrow. Coming across. And if you'd like, you can rotate the upper body. Don't twist the knees though, just a little bit of turn here. Switching sides, give it a hug. And again, you can rotate the upper body if you like. Okay, coming out of that, roll the shoulders both ways. For the neck, turn the head. I want to look down toward the ground, and then I'm just going to gently rock left and right. So down and just a little pendulum, side to side, slow and steady. Check our time. Doing all right. Okay, you can do that longer. In fact, if there's a point of tension where you go to the right and you feel tension on the left and you want to spend more time there, you can. You just want to be symmetrical, so go back to the other side and hold for the same amount of time if you can, right? You want to aim for some symmetry. Even if one side's irritated and the other side isn't, you still want to get both sides. Okay, I'm going to just hang my head down for about 5 more seconds. Nice deep breath. Let it out. And roll up slow and steady. All right, shake anything out that you feel like you need to. All right, everybody, thank you guys so much for coming today. I hope you had a good workout, and if you enjoyed it, go ahead and click the like button so that this video can be shared with other people like yourselves on YouTube. Bye-bye.